They say, oh, no, 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 we was going to see if it, what the fuck are y'all?
Now when it comes to Lil Wayne, the buzz around Thought Carter 6 has been nothing short of electric. After 5 long years of waiting, Wayne finally dropped one of the most anticipated rap records in recent memory. And the timing could not be more scandalous. With the hip-hop world still caught up in the firestorm of Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, Wayne decided this was the perfect moment to remind everyone who the real monster still lurking in rap is. See, Wayne's name has been hotter in conversations than it's been in years, and not just because of his music. Kendrick securing that Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans lit a fire under Wayne, a stage he felt should have been his. And let's be real, he didn't keep that frustration a secret. That moment set the stage for Wayne to either prove he's still untouchable or risk being left in the shadows of this new generation. So now, with Thought Carter 6 finally in our hands, Wayne had a bigger spotlight than ever to respond, not just to Kendrick and Drake, but to everyone doubting if he still had it. Fans wanted to see, did losing that Super Bowl spot break him down, or did it push him to come back even stronger? Did it show where his shaky friendship with Drake really stands? The pressure was suffocating, but Wayne delivered something wild. Between bizarre, rock-inspired covers, strange but fascinating collaborations, and some of the boldest tracks he's ever put out, Wayne laid it all on the table. Whether intentional or not, every bar, every feature, every offbeat experiment told us where his head is at, where he stands in today's game, and just how much of a threat he still wants to be. And before we dive deeper into everything that's making the Carter 6 the wildest talking point in hip-hop right now, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Because this album is setting the culture on fire in ways nobody expected. For better or worse, every piece of this project is pulling Wayne back into the spotlight, not just for the music, but for what it reveals about his ties with some of the biggest names in rap. And if there's one word to sum up this rollout, it's messy. Ever since that bizarre AI trailer dropped, where they tried to digitally copy Wayne by recreating his classic album covers, fans haven't stopped talking. It felt like they were chasing Jay-Z's style, but here's the problem. When Jay did it, it was authentic. This, it came off fake, forced, and downright corny. From that moment, the chaos around Thought Carter 6 only got louder. But here's the bombshell. The first thing this album makes clear is just how shaky Wayne's relationship with Drake looks right now. Think about it. If there was ever a time for Drake to lean on his mentor, this was it. If there was ever a time for Wayne, the man who literally embodies the 6, to show up on the 6th installment of his legendary series, this was the perfect chance. But what happened? Nothing. No collab, no feature, no public support. Wayne and Drake are acting like strangers at a time when Kendrick Lamar has both of them tangled up in his war. And yet, instead of standing together against Kendrick's shots, they're miles apart. No unity, no defense, just silence. That silence says more than any diss track ever could. And with all this playing out, Wayne did not send the message that many expected. He didn't show the world he's still standing strong beside the very artist he helped bring into the rap game. Rumors had been flying for months that both Drake and Nicki Minaj were set to appear on Thought Carter 6. DJ ADMITS even fueled the fire, teasing that something explosive was coming, saying things like, "Hi Kendrick," and hyping fans up with the idea that Drake and Wayne might finally unite on wax to fire shots back at Kendrick. But when the album dropped, nothing. No Drake verse, no Nicki feature, no subliminals, no team up, just silence. It all looks now like those early reports were either flat out fake or some desperate last-minute push to get Wayne to stand with Drake. And yet, Thought Carter 6 turned out to be packed with features from others, just not the two people fans thought mattered most. Here's where things get extra messy. How did heavyweights like Rolling Stone and even Sports Illustrated get it so wrong? These aren't gossip blogs. They usually try to stay credible. But somehow they were running headlines that Drake and Nicki were locked in, only for the final product to prove otherwise. That disconnect raises big questions about what was happening inside Wayne's camp. Was there an intentional leak to build hype? Or was his team scrambling to craft a storyline that fell apart before release? Either way, the absence of Drake is loud, almost too loud. And while Wayne versus Drake is its own drama waiting to unfold, the rest of the Carter 6 doesn't exactly escape controversy either. Remember? Wayne had rolled out the hype with a flashy Super Bowl collab and even dropped a cinematic commercial. Moves that clearly mirrored Kendrick Lamar's own Super Bowl takeover. It's like Wayne was determined to turn his frustrations into motivation, using this project as proof that he could still deliver his sharpest self when it mattered most. But here's where things spiral into chaos. Because beyond the slick rollout, the missing Drake and Nicki features, and all the noise around the album's hype, Thought Carter 6 took messy to levels nobody could have predicted. Wayne clearly tried to use this album as his big audition tape for the Super Bowl stage, a chance to prove once and for all that he's still the legend who can do anything. But instead of shutting down the debate, he accidentally made it clear there was never really a debate to begin with. See, when stacked up against Kendrick Lamar, especially with Kendrick already stamped as the Super Bowl headliner, Wayne had the chance to at least spark a conversation. He could have dropped a project so sharp, so undeniable, that fans and critics alike might have questioned if the NFL made a mistake leaving him off that stage. But what did we actually get? An album that feels tired, lazy, confusing, and completely uninspired. This wasn't the Wayne fans waited 5 years for. This was a Wayne going through the motions. And the result? A brutal reminder that he and Kendrick can't even be compared anymore. They're playing in two completely different leagues. Kendrick is moving like the face of modern music, blending professionalism, artistry, and vision at the highest level. Meanwhile, Wayne stumbled on the very platform he hyped up as his shot to prove he deserved that halftime spotlight. And let's be real, when the stakes were this high, missing the mark this badly doesn't just hurt Wayne's album, it hurts his entire argument for still being in the same conversation as today's giants. Aside from a couple standout moments, like Welcome to the Carter, which gave fans hope early on, the rest of Thought Carter 6 is a disaster. That one track felt like Wayne might be back in his bag, but what followed was so sloppy, it almost felt like someone threw a bunch of random Wayne tracks together instead of the man who crafted the legendary first 5 installments of this series. From start to finish, the whole thing feels rushed, unpolished, and flat-out unprofessional. The rollout didn't help either. Instead of genuine excitement, Wayne's camp leaned on random pages to post forced hype, only to follow it with that awkward AI slap trailer. They tried to recreate Jay-Z's iconic album cover concept, but Wayne's version looked like a low-budget knockoff. And the cover art? It might as well have been fan-made Photoshop. Everything screamed bootleg energy, and when the music finally dropped, things only got weirder. Features that didn't fit, chaotic track choices, and even a song where Wayne laid Ave Maria over trap drums. Just let that sink in. And somehow, that wasn't even the worst part of the project. That should tell you everything about how far off the rails this record really went. Now, the biggest takeaway isn't just about the sound, it's about the fallout. This album left rap fans scratching their heads, wondering not only where Wayne's artistry is at, but also where his loyalty lies. Is he and Drake even speaking at this point? Why did Wayne distance himself when the whole world expected unity? Meanwhile, Drake is laying low, waiting out the storm, while Kendrick Lamar is making Wayne look like he never should have been considered for that Super Bowl spotlight in the first place. And really, when you sit with Thought Carter 6, it's impossible to expect fans to like what they're hearing. This was supposed to be Wayne's big comeback after 5 years away, after everything he's battled with the industry, and after all the smoke surrounding the rap beefs. Instead, he gave us nothing. No sharp commentary, no response to the chaos, just meaningless raps tossed over random beats while pairing up with artists like MGK and Kodak. Collabs that felt more like bad experiments than power moves. That's why this record is already being labeled one of the most disappointing blockbuster rap albums in recent history. And not just that, it may end up remembered as one of the weakest installments in any major rap series. Because when you think of Thought Carter I through V, even with flaws, those albums had life. They were bold, entertaining, and above all, passionate. That fire is completely gone here. Instead, we got a circus of bizarre choices. Ave Maria clashing with 808s, random elephant noises thrown into tracks, auto-tune drowning everything out, and some of the worst mixing we've ever heard on a Wayne project. And to top it off, he dipped back into that failed rebirth rockstar bag nobody asked for. The result? Fans walked away with one clear feeling: disappointment at a legendary artist who seems to have lost touch with making competent music in today's era. And this isn't just a matter of a few weak songs. The entire project collapses at a fundamental level. Every track feels like a miss, every experiment falls flat, and the whole album plays more like a cautionary tale than a comeback. From the structure to the hooks, to the verses, to the features, this album is a train wreck on every level. And let's be real, aside from a halfway decent verse from Big Sean and a moment from 2 Chainz, the features are flat out atrocious. Wayne is at a point in his career where fans expected maturity, depth, or at least consistency. But instead, he gave us an album that spends half its time lazily sampling classic rock songs and butchering them so badly they sound like parody. Take the track where he tried to reinvent Weezer's Island in the Sun. Instead of flipping it into something fresh, he turned it into one of the most cringe-worthy moments of the entire project. And that's the theme here. Moments that should have been bold statements instead sound like mockery of his own legacy. And this is where it cuts deep. Because Thought Carter series has been one of the most important rap franchises of all time. Now Wayne has stamped it with an installment that humiliates his own name and turns that legendary run into a cautionary tale. The sympathy push he got from fans over the Super Bowl snub, it all looks empty now. Because when it came time to deliver, Wayne showed less care than ever in creating a real, cohesive musical experience. And here's the twist. The rap world has been eerily quiet about this flop. This is the same crowd that cried outrage when Wayne didn't land the Super Bowl slot over Kendrick Lamar. But now, crickets. The silence speaks volumes. What it really shows is that too many rappers who stood behind Wayne during that drama weren't defending music. They were defending jealousy. Kendrick's shine was never threatened, and Wayne just proved why. And so with all this, for Lil Wayne, the blame falls squarely on him. At the end of the day, he chose this route, and now the narratives surrounding him are uglier than ever. He hyped this album up like it was going to be a cultural reset, the big comeback moment, but instead it's turned into a public meltdown. Fans, critics, even casual listeners are walking away saying the same thing. Maybe it's time for Wayne to hang it up, because when you strip away all the noise, the truth is brutal. Wayne has shown us that he has nothing left to offer against giants like Kendrick Lamar or even his own protege Drake. And when a rapper of Wayne's magnitude reaches this kind of point, there's no polite way to frame it. He's going out sad, and the game is watching it happen in real time. So here's the one definitive takeaway from Thought Carter 6. No matter how much hype you build, no matter how legendary your past, if you deliver something this week, your legacy takes the hit. And for Wayne, that hit might be permanent. And now, the reaction from the industry has been just as brutal as the reaction from fans. Behind the scenes, execs and insiders who once hailed Wayne as untouchable are now whispering that Thought Carter's 6 exposed everything they feared, that he's no longer capable of carrying the weight of a major release in today's game. Radio stations barely gave the album spins. Streaming platforms pushed it for a week and then buried it. And big-name rappers who used to publicly praise Wayne are suddenly quiet as stone. Think about it. When was the last time Drake stayed silent this long about anything Wayne dropped? When was the last time Nicki didn't come rushing in to post support? The silence from his closest allies says more than words ever could. It's like the industry collectively decided not to waste energy defending this flop. And even worse, Kendrick Lamar's camp is reportedly laughing at the timing. Kendrick delivered timeless performances, while Wayne delivered parody-level rock flips and chaotic features. The contrast is humiliating. One artist proving he belongs on the biggest stage in America, the other stumbling in his own house. The truth is, Wayne might have just burned every bridge he had left with this one. His label wanted a cultural moment, his fans wanted a classic, and even the blogs wanted something to stir up the beef with Kendrick. Instead, everyone got the same realization at once. Wayne isn't the titan he once was, and the Carter name no longer guarantees greatness. What makes this sting the most? The industry isn't just disappointed. They're embarrassed for him. And in hip-hop, that's worse than hate because once people see you as a punchline, there's almost no way back. And now comes the fallout that hits even harder. Because this isn't just about the music anymore. It's about Lil Wayne's reputation, his money, and his connection with fans who once treated him like a god. After Thought Carter 6, ticket sales for his upcoming shows are reportedly soft, with promoters quietly panicking about whether Wayne can still fill arenas without leaning on nostalgia tours. The album was supposed to prove he was current, but instead it makes him look stuck in the past, and fans aren't lining up to pay top dollar for that. Merch? Barely moving. Streaming numbers? Already dropping week by week. The sad truth is that Wayne didn't just release a flop. He may have damaged his own brand. Once an artist starts looking like they've lost it, casual listeners drift away, and even die-hard fans start to rethink their loyalty. That's the danger Wayne is facing right now. And on top of that, his rivals are eating this up. Kendrick doesn't even have to say a word. Wayne's flop speaks for him. Drake, meanwhile, is sitting silent, letting Wayne take all the heat while he plots his own next move. Even Nicki hasn't rushed to defend him, which tells you everything about where Wayne really stands in 2025. For an artist who once stood as the undisputed best rapper alive, the downfall feels personal. It's not just about a bad album, it's about the image of a legend who had the world in his hands and let it slip through his fingers. And if Wayne can't course correct soon, this flop could go down as the defining low point of his career. Never, and I mean never, try to compare Lil Wayne to Kendrick Lamar ever again. This album made it clear that they are in two different worlds, and that debate is officially dead. So now, with all this laid out, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Thought Carter 6 and everything it's revealing about the state of hip-hop right now? Are you shocked that Drake didn't show up anywhere on the project? Do you think that silence exposed even more cracks in his relationship with Wayne? And how do you feel this album impacts the never-ending Kendrick versus Wayne conversation? Because let's be honest, this project might not just be one of the weakest things Wayne has ever put out, it might actually be one of the worst rap albums we've gotten in years. Do you agree? Or do you think fans are being too harsh on a legend who already proved himself in the past? Drop your thoughts, because I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all this madness. And if you made it this far, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how Drake already embarrassed himself this week with one of the worst moves of his career, check out the suggested video. I'll see you there.